Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LVS Perspectives 8. So we've been back to school best part of 2 weeks, so we're reviewing the situation. When we last met on the 21st of August, we did say we'd give it 2 weeks and then you'd have an opportunity to feed back to us and we could tell you what's been going on here and how we've adapted and changed. So welcome. It's lovely to be back to school, hearing the children outside. The school is fully functional and we're having fun. So I'm going to, as usual, talk for a while on various subjects, and please send your questions through and I can answer them towards the end. So first of all, let's say goodbye to our year 13 that have just been. They're off to university this weekend. So most of them all packed up, ready to go, far and wide across the country. So good luck to them. We'll miss you. Keep in contact, and here's to a good year, whatever that brings. Okay, so back to school we've been, and we've constantly changed and adapted over the last couple of weeks, as you know. And the biggest change probably was over the catering. So we were always concerned that we could get as many children through our dining hall safely to have a hot meal. And the cold lunches, it was fine for the short term, but obviously it's not a good long-term solution. And therefore we're really pleased that when the Fish and Chip Friday weren't great for takeaway, that we can actually have a hot meal for all our children. So that's from Monday, so that's the biggest change. We've also kept on top of the government guidelines as well, and how we have had to change our risk assessments. The year group bubbles have gone exceptionally well. The children are so well behaved, they're so empathetic to the situation, and they're really sticking to all the guidelines and the advice that the staff are giving them. So thank you to parents as well for reinforcing that at home. It makes a big difference. And this week I led assemblies for all the senior school children, and sort of to gauge how they were feeling about things. And a lot of them, to their credit, seem to have taken COVID and the lockdown in their stride. They seem to be accepting of the situation, and they seem genuinely happy to be back to school, although I think some of the year groups were having me on. And I think if they could be at home and not work at all, then that would be the preferred option. But I think they were having me on a bit because there were a few giggles going around at the same time. So they're really adapting well. Children always do. They're hugely resilient, so well done to them. So that's where we are with the catering. The car parking situation at the start of term was a little bit chaotic, but I think by day 3, we had realised that if we created basically a one-way system, that it would work better, and that helped with the junior school staggered departure times as well. And we're looking for a long-term solution for the flow of the car park, and it might be that we do implement some kind of one-way system, which we will look at over October half term. So no more change for any of us, because I think we've all had a lot of change, and the situation with COVID is constantly changing, and there's only so much change that we can deal with at any one time. Okay, so the next thing, masks. So that's a big question coming up, and more schools are wearing masks in school, and some of our children are already wearing masks around the school. I saw some children in assemblies with masks on, and that's fine. And I think we are moving to more use of masks. Now, we can't advise you on what kind of mask, so as long as it's blue or black, any shade of blue, it doesn't matter what it is, and that you look at home about the safe wearing of masks, and how they could be kept during the day in lessons when they're not on. And we really sort of encourage now children and staff to wear masks when they're in communal areas. So not when they're in the year group bubbles, unless they want to, that's up to them. And they don't need them in lessons because it is their year group bubble. But surely when we're walking around communal areas, it's just an added protection, lowers the risk as we're heading into the autumn term and all that it will bring. And it will bring coughs and colds, all sorts. We know what it's like, especially I find when I'm visiting other schools, when I'm on inspection, new school, new germs, without a doubt. So whenever I go on inspection, I get a cold, and I don't get it cold at an LVS because I think I'm immune to anything that's going around this school over the last 18 years. I'm touching wood right now because I really don't want a nasty bug. But anyway, so we have, as parents, we've got to decide what it is that our child is suffering from. Is it a cold? Is it a flu? Is it something else? And obviously we've got to be very mindful of COVID. So today our lead nurse, our residential nurse, Julianne Wilkes, sent out some guidelines. And these guidelines came from the Nurses Forum that she belongs to, and it gives a flowchart as well. So if you're not sure, have a look at the flowchart, see what you think, consult other family members to see whether you think your child should come into school, and go from there. So the current guidelines are that if you feel that you've got COVID symptoms, then you should self-isolate until you've had a test, and if it's negative, then you can come back to school. If you've been in contact with a positive person, you have to go off for 14 days and take a test as well and go from there. So if it came back negative, you would have to stay home. Now, that's the current guidelines. Now, I know the testing situation in the UK is really bad at the moment, and I really empathise with any of you who are self-isolating at the moment and can't get a test. But only this morning, Nina Verdi, our data manager, who's also the practice manager, found out that one of our nursing agencies that we will be engaging with for our bank nurses when we need them, if we need them, actually offers a test, and we are currently putting in an order for a couple of hundred because we can get them at a good price. And the best news is, which I was really surprised about, is a pinprick test that does the antigen and the antibody. So it's a dual test and you get the result within 15 minutes. Now, I'm sat here having only heard that about 30 minutes ago, and I'm being a little bit sceptical because I'm still seeing people being prodded with things up their noses or scraped around their mouths or spat into a container. So I'm thinking that really sounds too good to be true. But we're on it. So Nina's on it right now as I'm talking to you, and hopefully we can get a good supply into school so that if we did have anyone who needed to be tested, or if a year group had to go out because of a confirmed case, then we can act pretty quickly. So that's really good news. It's only just come in this morning. As I get more details, I will send them home to you. Okay, so the year 8 timetable is going to have a little bit of disruption because the sets were a little bit too large in year 8, so we are creating a 5th set. So Mr. Paget's working hard on the timetable. It does mean a little bit of disruption come Monday morning, that with where the sets might have moved around a little bit, but we will try and keep that disruption to a minimum. But again, it's about being flexible and changing. We've got the space to do it, and obviously if the sets are smaller, then it's a win for everyone. And then looking at the local and national issues as well, we're seeing more areas of the country going into local lockdown. I think we're in a relatively safe area, being where we are in Bracknell Forest, but you never know. So we've just got to keep our eyes on what is happening. But, you know, as the government said, the schools will be the last to close. And I just do not anticipate the school closing. Now, I've been wrong before. I was the one that said in February, the threat of the virus in the UK is not a threat, and then look what happened. But we are here and we're learning and we're following the government guidelines. We're doing really well. We have no positive cases. There's people self-isolating has dropped off a little bit this week. Last week we had a little bit of a flurry, but we haven't had so many this week, so it's looking good. And if a year group had to go out, that's fine. We've got the devices, we've got the technology, and we will continue with our education. So that's the national and local update. That's what we constantly watch. The Department of Education sends through an update every day, and that's really good. And it's not very often that you see something you go, oh my word. It tends to reiterate what's going on and if there's any tweaks as well. So the big tweak for us this week was, if there was a positive case, we don't report to the HPE, but we actually go to the Department of Education, who've set up a helpline, and they will advise us as and when we need it. So we do feel really supportive and we feel confident, and the children are enjoying being back to school. So you've got no worries there. Your children are safe and they're having fun and they're learning, the most important thing. Okay, I'm just looking up at my little crib sheet up here as well. Now, the other thing that we thought about was, you know, more and more people are going back to work, but more and more people are actually working from home. Now, when we started the Perspectives talks, we asked you what you thought would be a good time to deliver them. And at the time, a Friday, 12 o'clock was great. But now it might not be the case. So if you think there's any mileage in moving these to a Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, then if you could just let us know, you might want to drop a comment here or contact Claire Gedge, and we will see what you want to do. Keep it here, put it on a Thursday night. We can keep it here, and they're always recorded anyway, so you can go back and watch them at a later time. So it's down to you. These sessions are for you, and also for me, because I get the lovely feedback from you, which helps us move forward with the next steps as well. So that's where we are with back to school, and I'll answer the questions at the end. So just want to talk about devices, because we are going to roll them out to the whole school as soon as we can now. Just taking into consideration our learning journey as far as technology is concerned, our blended learning, and also the fact if we had a year group lockdown, we are ready to go, we've got the continuity there. I do understand that parents bought devices over the lockdown period and we do not want to incur extra costs for you. So we just got to take it nice and steady. But what we've done is, to answer any questions that you might have, is we've put on a Zoom session on Monday night. So that's Monday night, 21st of September at 7 p.m. There's a Zoom session where there'll be a panel. And on that panel will be our own Mr. Panayi, who's our head of ICT computing, Jerry Rogers, who's our education technology specialist, our director of finance, who is Mel Foster-Hawes. We have our new head of CTS, which is the company that now we outsource our IT from. Shapur Galansky will be there too. And also our academic team. So Mrs. Petrol, Mrs. Catlin, the assistant head's academic, will be there to present to you about blended learning and what it is and how we're going to move forward. Mrs. Cox will be there from the infant and junior school also because she's got some very good observations so far with year 5 and 6 and how she wants to move forward with technology. So we're here together on a journey. The first batch of devices were ordered through a company called Academia, but we're looking that if we're going to do a further rollout, we could probably do it directly with the school, spread the cost over time and have more of a direct journey with you on those devices. So if you would like a place in the Zoom meeting on Monday, can you please contact Claire Gedge? Because we have about 80 places left. So some parents were very, very quick to get on there. We had maximum people in the meeting, as you know, with Zoom meetings, 100 people. So if you want to reserve your place, please do. And then on Monday, we will send you the Zoom link as well. So there's other things happening. So our uniform. So we are going through uniform consultation, as you're aware, or might not be aware if you're a new pupil. But we're moving to a different company for September 2021. We've been working with them for a year now about our uniform. There are some subtle changes. They are a company who will have zero carbon footprint within 5 years. We're looking at sustainability, we're looking at the quality, we're looking at the price, we're looking all the way around. And we will be having the company come in on the 1st of October with samples of the uniform. And we will be having small groups of parents, pupils, staff to come and have a look right across the organisation. So if you're interested in being part of that group also, if you could contact Mr. Curtis Knight as he's leading the uniform consultation. We'll also be including the WOW in that. So if you would like to be part of the WOW group, please contact the school as well. We'll put you on the mailing list. We have our first WOW meeting on the 28th of September at 7 o'clock. It's a great opportunity if you want to be part of a really dynamic group of parents who share the world of work. So parents from different disciplines, marketing, finance, IT, HR, you name it, we have a representative virtually in every field. So it's a great opportunity to share your experiences in the world of work. It's an amazing time at the moment for gaining what's going on out there in the big wide world. We start with a real feedback about what's happening. It'd be very interesting now coming to the end of furlough and how organisations, businesses are responding to it as well. It's a brilliant time. It lasts about an hour and a half, but we'd love to have you on board. We have a LinkedIn, Facebook, LinkedIn group as well for the WOW. We've really come up with some fantastic ideas to support our students as well. Careers events, we write a brochure, you name it, it's blue sky thinking. In fact, it's such blue sky thinking that sometimes you come away from it exhausted, but inspired. And talking of inspirational, our PTA, truly inspirational, have their AGM on Monday night as well. So if you're online for the IT, you might want to then come off and come back on for the PTA AGM. And that's an annual event, the AGM, and so the officers will be hopefully re-elected back into post, and new members can come along and offer your services and take part in the many amazing things that the PTA do. They feel quite restricted at the moment because obviously we can't have anything going on site at the moment, but their second-hand sales of uniform have proved really successful. And I think with the transition for uniform, not just because we are transitioning between providers, but also because there are distribution issues with supply, we know that already, and we sort of anticipated this. We have a really good stock of second-hand uniform. So contact the PTA directly. They actually have a sale this afternoon, but that I think it's already taken up because we have to limit the amount of people that can come on site. But if you do have any uniform issues, the PTA can help you out with that. Okay, and so we're coming to the end of what I have to talk about, and now this is where I put my glasses on and I can see the chat coming in and I can answer your questions. Okay, so nice to see you, Natalie Hayward, and thank you very much for your lovely message there as well. And Yarmila, who is the chair of WOW. So we are really promoting our group, Yarmila, because it is so fabulous. And she says that her girls are very happy to be back in school and have settled well. They are incredible. They are so resilient. They really are wonderful. And I'm not just saying that because it's LVS and they're our children, but their behaviour, their empathy is spot on, really spot on. Okay, and then is the mask usage the same for both senior and junior school? The mask usage is for the senior school. It's not recommended for junior pupils, but if you've got any queries about that, please contact Rachel in the junior school and that she can give you a bit more guidance there. Things are always changing, and I think what's great is we keep communicating, you communicate with us, and if we have to make changes like we've done over the last 2 weeks, we're all taking it on board and we're working together. That this virus is not going to beat us, I can tell you that now. Okay, okay, somebody has already replied. That could be Mrs. Cox online, I think. Okay, and okay, Thursday 7 p.m. would open up the forum for everyone, those working or those not. Okay, it's coming in. It looks like Thursday might be good. So please keep it coming. If you think Thursday's good, brilliant. A question here, whether we alternate the time and the date. Personally speaking, another option, 7 p.m. or Friday midday, both okay. We could do both. Let us know what you think. Another parent here. Hello, Mrs. Reed. Hope you're okay. Nice to be back to school. She says, clearly you are working on lots of areas to maintain a flexible approach and doing a great job. Very happy with arrangements. Perhaps you should be running track and race. Oh no, thank you. I'm more creative than that. Many thanks for keeping us informed every step of the way. And back from Jarmila for the WOW group. If anyone is interested in the Ascot World group, here's our group on LinkedIn. So she's put a connection up there as well. Apply to join. It's free, but we do need to apply. You need to apply so that we can ensure that only our parents at the school are on there for safeguarding issues, and that you will receive updates through that as well. Lovely to see you, Mrs. Irvine, and that Jasper is settling well into year 11 and made friends with the girls. Oh, bless him. Good. That's really good news. They keep the boys in check. Parent here, is it possible to see lunch menus or even recipes, as my son is loving the food? Brilliant. I'm really glad he's loving the food, because it hasn't been the best experience so far, but we've been doing our best. So the menus are on the normal menus are on the gateway. So have pen in hand, and I'm going to write menus to make sure that those takeaway lunches are going on the gateway. So thank you for raising that. So Mr. Doherty, have all the devices ordered over the summer and been given out to the children? Okay, as far as I'm aware, I think they have. We were a little bit slow off the mark, really due to coming back and the amount of work that the department were under, but I think they are all out now. There were a couple where there were multiple devices per family where we had a few issues, but if you haven't received your device, if you could email in, and we will make sure we follow that up, because they should all be raring to go. Thank you, Faye. It's lovely to see you again. Fantastic approach all round. Pickups and drop-offs are much easier this way. Less traffic. Can we keep this? So many parents have said, can we keep the staggered end to the junior school up? And I think, it's working well for the junior school, but I'm not going to commit to that one, because Mrs. Cox will probably storm in here and ask me what I'm doing. So, Mrs. Cox, that one's over to you. But it does seem to be benefiting the whole school. And also some people coming in agreeing with that as well. Oh, here we go. The lunch menus are on the school gateway for you to see. We'll just need to check that they are the new takeaway ones as well. So, do we have any other queries, questions? Come on, guys, give me a hard time. Stretch me, challenge me. Anything at all. Otherwise, I'm going to have to log on, because I think I haven't got any more questions coming up. So I'll have to log off and go and do some other work. This isn't work to me. I love it too much. Any other questions? Because I'll be clocking off soon. Now, we're aiming to do these, as I say, once a month. as long as there's a topic that we can talk about, we don't want to just sit here and, well, we could sit here and have a chat. It'd be quite nice, actually. So listen, if there's any topics you want me to discuss, then we can. Oh, this is a nice one. How are you all coping with the additional workload and checks? It's a very novel situation. It's actually, you think it's strange. It's quite refreshing. It's so refreshing, and it has been since lockdown, to try and think and work out the best way to do things out of the normal. Whether that's, it's totally thinking outside the box. And I think everybody's inspired by it and energized by it. But the one thing we just need to keep an eye on is that everybody keeps healthy and happy and doesn't actually exhaust themselves. And that's everybody, parents included. So we all need to take care of ourselves as well. Mr. Doherty, thanks. Aaron is loving being back. He really needed this and is very happy. As we always say, happiness is key. Happy children will learn. And we want to see that light in their eyes, don't we? And so another parent here, what kinds of devices are we expecting? Are we able to see, for example? Okay, so we had sent out a communication about the 3 types of devices. There was a Surface Go, Surface Pro, and then there was a higher spec, almost like a laptop Microsoft device as well. And you can see the three of them. So on Monday, if you want to take part in the group, please come along, because we will show what those devices are again. And if it is beneficial to everybody, then we could send the communication out again. I'm just conscious we send you so much, and you might go, oh, here we go, here's LVS again, something else is going on. But let us know if you need that information. We want to try and get the most generic experience possible, so that when the teachers are using the same devices, the experience is consistent across the class, and so everybody's singing from the same song sheet, singing because it's coming from a singing teacher. And I can see that the next question is about singing as well. So when do you think performances can start again? And also, can we sing socially distanced on the school field? So we will be looking to have year group performances, as we do with the performing arts afternoons, and there's no reason why we can't do those. We've had a couple of weeks to see how we settle down. Things are improving all the time because we've got great facilities and we're able to use those, and we could start having performances. The only thing is it will be online, because we can't have parents in the audience at the moment. And as for singing, I can't see why we couldn't do it. I'm not going to commit myself right here and now, because I'll probably get in trouble with some kind of regulation out there that I haven't read. Okay, but let me have a think, because we might be able to do something. I'm missing it. Music, singing, shows and debating are difficult. What can be done to fill the void? Angelina is missing these things. I'm the person who's got my tap shoes under the desk. I'm missing it too, and I really empathise with these children. But we'll get them on that stage. We'll get them doing as much as we can. Again, we've got to think out the box. We've had 2 weeks now. We've settled down. We've got the academic things under control. Now let's look at the experience of the co-curricular, how we move forward as well. Checking devices, senior school, not junior school. Again, Rachel has got some feedback that she's observed for year 5 and year 6. So please do come to that meeting on Monday if you can, if you're in the junior school, so you can hear what's going on. You can hear the vision and how children adapt really quickly, and how we might need to expand it as well. So please log into that session on Monday, because you will have the real experts in that room. I'm just the messenger. I don't really know a great deal about it. All I know is there's a vision out there, it works, and we're promoting it as well. Okay, what are the plans for school sports fixtures? So external sports fixtures are still banned, they can't be done, but we can play against each other within school, which I think the sports department are doing that at the moment. And again, it's a movable feast. We just got to keep watching and consult with the director of sport. And as soon as we can, believe me, we will be playing everybody and everything. This site will be buzzing again. But it was lovely to hear the children out on the field on the Saturday mornings. Really lovely as well. Are the kids having enough fun stuff to do at school in addition to studying and catching up? Yeah, I think our children have fun in school anyway. Obviously, lessons have got to be lessons and catching up. And I don't think there's a great deal of what we say catching up. They're on top of things, but we have to keep working hard. But they have their fun. So they've got their sports lessons, which run as a double lesson. They're double lesson of performing arts. So they got fun. They're out playing with each other. I mean, as I started this, I thought, I should have probably shut the window, because it was very noisy, but you could hear them laughing, and they've got the dedicated areas out on the field, and they're playing, and the ball games are there, and the borders at night, you can hear them laughing. They're having fun. We have fun. I can't go a day without having fun and laughing, so we'll make sure they continue to have fun as well. And then Mrs. Cox is there. She said about expanding the devices over the infant and junior school as well. So, okay, the questions of, what we've got on here, is there any information forthcoming with the exams for year 11? Are the pupils updated? What may be changing for individual subjects? Okay, so we had an assembly in the week for year 11 and year 13, and we talked about exams and the fact that the government haven't made any firm plans for what happens in the summer. But we, as you know, with our term dates, there's an asterisk by the 2nd of July, because we say that year 11 and year 13 should be prepared to stay later should they run into July. Because as we know, the state schools run a lot later than us. They won't be any earlier. I can't see them being much later. That's the vibe I've got at the moment. And there's no real changes being communicated at the moment. We just keep going, the full syllabus, the full exams, because we can always adapt down. But I'd rather keep going and being robust, because knowledge is knowledge, and the children in year 11 are going to proceed to A level. So even if the content is less, even if there's more scope of questions for the children, shouldn't we just be going for the best possible outcome for the children? And if the exams are slightly easier next year, that's just a bonus. Not that they would be easier. I'm going to take that back. I'll get into trouble for that one as well. They might be less restrictive, but we should give them as much information as we can to prepare them for A level and beyond A level as well. Okay. Any more questions now coming in? It's lovely to see people back online. So I'm going to be logging off now. If there's no more questions, I hope you have a lovely weekend. I think the weather's going to be lovely. Oh, we've got another one, sorry. Will there be any virtual sixth form open evening events? Oh, yes. Good question. Really good question. I always manage to miss something. Yes, so we will have the GCSE and A-level options evenings. They're in the calendar, but they're quite soon. The one that we've got in the calendar we were proposing to do was at the end of September. So we're looking at that date, and we're going to put it probably back into November. And they will be online if we can't come into school. So we will run the options fair online, like we did the information evenings back in June, to start the process. But there's no rush at the moment to do it. We normally do it early in the year for timetabling reasons. But one thing we've learned with being flexible and adaptive, that we can leave it a little bit later this year. So they will happen as well. And careers advice, feedback on Moresby tests, we'll make sure that all the children engage in the careers programme and looking forward to their options as well. Okay, any more? Okay, I hope you have a lovely weekend. I'll see you soon. Remember, you can always contact me, always here, always happy to Zoom if you would prefer to talk personally. Okay, take care. See you Monday night. See you Monday.